Hi and welcome to the Startline podcast with me, Beth Espy. Thank you so much for downloading this episode. And today we're talking to somebody who's not focusing on MGP for 2026. Instead, they're looking for 2027. So more than a year of planning going into getting him to the start line. So today we are meeting Nick Round, and he hasn't actually been racing for very long, but it's been a passion for as long as he can remember. He's grown up in a family where it's been all about bikes. He's got a very interesting career as well. Let's meet him now.
I live near Tadcaster in North Yorkshire. Racing-wise, I've only been on track 3 years, and 2 of those was like go-kart tracks and big tracks, so little 125 Free Tech, if you've heard of that. Done MBS as well. We were actually Free Tech production champions last year, so the bug's always been there, but we never thought, you always think, are you actually good enough to do it? So when we became champions last year, with encouragement from people like my friend Ben Round and people like that, and people might know him from No Limits and stuff, go get a big bike. You can do this. So with a bit of encouragement, this was my actual first year on a big bike, and it's been amazing. It's gone so well, so couldn't really ask for much more. That's where we're at the minute. I've been racing No Limits this year in the Newcomer 600 and also the Club 600 Endurance, and we've finished third overall in Ben Round's round racing team, so it really couldn't have gone any better from that point of view, with lots of podiums. So been a really, really good year.
And we're talking to people in this series about MGP primarily, and I know you're not looking for it for next year. Are you thinking 2027?
2027. I did email them this year, but I didn't actually know that you need a full national license from June 2025 this year. You need to have had it a full year. So I inquired, and they were really polite about it, and they said, just ask again next year. They advised with like the signatures and stuff that they want you to do. The plan now is to go full attack in 2026 with various road events, and then reapply next year. So I always thought it was going to be way too soon, but I just wanted to introduce myself, and on the off chance that it was possible, I did contact them. But yeah, they want me to ask again next year, and so it's all geared towards that now next year. But to get a national license in 1 year has blown my mind, because I didn't think that would be possible in just 1 year. But like I say, it's gone so well this year. I've just upgraded to national now. So
the countdown is on then, and you're no stranger, are you, to going over and watching racing on the island?
No, it's first year. My mate Steve got me over there, so pretty much I've missed about 2. Manx twice as well. I spent about 11 or 12 weeks actually living on the island last year. So yeah, no stranger to the island. It's just a wonderful place. It's such a stunning island, and a bit more relaxed, and it's I call it my happy place. So yeah, absolutely love being over there. So it's got a little piece of my heart, so I'm always drawn to it.
Tell us about your sort of day-to-day life. I mean, I'm assuming that, bikes obviously take up an awful lot of your free time, but what's the day job?
So I'm actually a maths teacher, secondary maths teacher, so the kids are always amazed that you actually do something with your life and you don't just sit doing equations all the time. So they always asking loads of questions about it and things like that. It does make racing really tricky, because obviously everyone says that we've got wonderful holidays, which we do, but it's very inflexible. Obviously every practice day that has happened this year, I haven't been there, so I've been going to tracks for the first time. I've never been, for example, Donington last round. I'd never been to Donington. Well, I'd never been round Donington. I've obviously been to Donington, but I'd never been round till the Saturday morning. So you've got like 20 minutes practice and then you're into a race. So I was always on the back foot this year. So again, it's gone better than expected. So yeah, the day job is teaching. Bit tricky with racing, but yeah. And then the rest of the time we're cleaning bikes. Fantastic that I've got like my dad and my brother that do all my prep for me, really mechanically, because I'm not very good at that, if I'm being totally honest. So I'm very good at cleaning my bikes, but not very good at prepping them. So a big thank you to them. But yeah, most of the time fixing fairings, washing stuff. I can do an oil change and fill, so that's about my bag. So I'm really lucky that I've got my dad and my brother.
Having a mathematical brain then, how does that help or not race-wise? I mean, I was going to say something really stupid then about counting the number of laps, but I mean, there's got to be some way that your brain works and how that might sort of fit into your racing.
I guess there's a lot of like calculations you do. I do obsess about data. I'm sure everyone's got who races clubs got some kind of lap timer. I'll spend hours looking at the lap timer data and stuff, and I keep a track of all my personal bests that I've done at every track and things like that. So it's always about trying to improve things. I'm absolutely obsessed with weight loss on the bike and stuff we can do to improve it. So I guess that's the analytical side coming through. I just obsess about trying to get better and better. Yeah, so I guess that's where that comes from.
And was being a teacher something you always wanted to do?
It's weird, isn't it? You want to be a professional motorcycle racer, but unfortunately, you've got to have bags of cash when you're a lot younger, haven't you? So there's through stages. I've wanted to be a pilot, a dentist. I went and did something else for a bit. So I was a business analyst for 3 or 4 years. Absolutely hated it because I was just stood behind a desk all the time. And then got into teaching. Relatively, yeah, I enjoy it most of the time. I've been doing it 11 years now, so patience is getting a bit thin because I'm getting older now. But yeah, I do enjoy what I'm doing.
I think, though, you are the first rider that I've met who is a teacher, and it's good to be a little bit different.
Yeah, people are always amazed. Like I say, the kids are always amazed that I ride motorcycles. And then when I mentioned that I want to do the Manx as well, oh my God, because obviously a lot of them have heard of the TT and things. So, and they're like, oh my God, that's dangerous. So yeah, I guess it is. But I've always just been drawn to the island and sat in the pub at the Traff having a beer with my mates, talking about speculating what sort of lap time you could do and things like that. It just gets the juices flowing. So yeah, it's exciting, and yeah, the kids do find it interesting because yeah, like I say, I think they just think we sit at home marking books all the time.
You mentioned your dad and your brother, who obviously are really supportive of what you do. So did you grow up in a very bikey household then? Yeah,
my dad's always ridden on the road. The deal was I was 13 and my brother was he'll have been about 16. The deal was he was going to buy it. Instead of buying himself a track bike to do track days on, he kindly said to Mum, I think it's about time the boys learnt off-road how to ride. But the deal was if he bought us this off-road bike and we learnt in the field, we'd never have road bikes. But that was never going to happen because he's ridden since he was 20. So by the time I got to about 23, they were just about to change the rules with regards to licensing. So me and brother went for the full shebang license. I can't remember what it was. So you could ride anything before they changed the rules. And ever since, the year after I went to the TT I bought my dad's Daytona off him and went to the TT the year after. I've been every year ever since. We've done thousands of miles on the island, and that mountain's worn out from us going round and round every day because we always stay at Ramsey and just go over countless times a day. Yeah, that's where the passions come from, really. My dad, he's always ridden.
And I guess then, having been over so many times, being so familiar with the mountain course, I mean, that's got to put you at a huge advantage in some ways because, you know, you really do know what to expect in some regards.
Yeah, I'd like to. You don't want to sound overconfident because obviously I know where my weaknesses are on the track. I know it's from Ginger Hall to K-Tree, which I don't know as well because for practical reasons it's got a 50 limit on it, so we never really go up there because it's a pain in the backside to ride up there at 50. So I'd like to think I know the mountain inside out. I obviously did a lot of commuting there last year. Me, my mate Nugget and my brother have been around thousands of times. We've done thousands of miles on the island, so I know it pretty well. There's still some stuff to learn. Bit after Rencullen's a bit tricky for me to remember, but there's not many spots that I wouldn't be able to learn, I don't think, with a bit more practice and going over and doing more laps and watching the onboards.
I've already hinted at the fact that obviously maybe this is something you'd have liked to have done when you were younger, but money's obviously an issue and whatever. In terms of looking for financial support and sponsorship, how far along the road are you with that?
So I guess everyone that comes on the podcast is in the same situation. There's thousands of club racers across the country that are in the same boat. I'm really lucky. We've got Murray McIntosh Engineering Recruitment for the Little 125 who've helped us over the last year and a half. Big shout out to them. We're really grateful with the support they've given us with the 125 at the minute. The R6 is purely self-funded. I've got some help off family and friends, little stickers on the side that they last year could buy. So I'm really, really grateful for everything that they've done because that made it easier at the start last year just to get going. And then other bits and bobs of help. So Martin Atherton at Meclam Engineering, who makes sprockets and things like that, has been massively helpful this year with just providing some chains and sprockets for me, because up until round 7 or 8 we were still on stock gearing, and we were still on till about round 4 we had totally stock suspension. So Martin helped us with some chains and sprockets, and that's when the results started improving, because you're up against people on some really trick stuff. So yeah, like I say, I've been really pleased with the year, because from where we started to where we are now, and the bike's still not exactly where we want it to be, we're doing well, and all these people have helped along the way. So yeah, I'm grateful. If there's anyone that wants to come on board and sponsor Randy Racing for all 2026, please get in touch, because I'd be really, really grateful, obviously.
Am I allowed to ask where that name came from for Randy Racing?
Yeah, you can. So it was the first year we were over at the TT. My mate Steve, I was obviously a bit younger, and we were drinking lots of beer while we were over there, and I obviously was chatting to every girl in every pub and every bar in Ramsey, and he just decided, because my second name's Round, he started to call me Randy, because I was talking to every girl in the bars when I was over there.
Committed that one to memory for 2027. Just thinking,
I'm a bit older now, Beth. It's fine. I've calmed down a little bit now.
Just still thinking about sponsorship. I know it's something I seem to talk to everybody about, but it is so important. Like you say, there are thousands of riders who want to be following their passion, but it does cost so much money. And I think sometimes it's hard to put into words, I guess, just what it means to you when somebody does come on board and support you.
Yeah, well, like Murray McIntosh, it's just like they enabled us to go to Spain to secure the championship. Their funding allowed us to go to the Spanish round of Free Tech and secure the championship. So you can't describe how grateful. And this year, their sponsorship enabled me to carry on racing the 125 with the boys in the endurance style events. I wouldn't have been able to carry on doing that alongside the R6 in the No Limits and all the other sort of club races I've done this year, because it's not purely been No Limits. I've tried to do everything I possibly can just to get as many signatures as possible. So yeah, Murray McIntosh, so grateful for what they did this year to allow me to carry on racing the 125, because in between the big bikes it just keeps you really sharp, and the fitness, because you go to the gym, you go jogging, but nothing beats being on the bike. No fitness beats being on a bike. So being able to do little 125 8-hour endurances in between the bigger bike is just invaluable. So yeah, really, really grateful for them.
Who would you say is the MGP rider perhaps that you would like to almost model yourself on, that you think actually you kind of like their style, sort of that's who you'd want to be?
Well, I'm really, really fortunate position. The first person that I bumped into at the Snetterton in the No Limits was Alan Benny, who's done the Manx, and he's obviously retired now. He's done the Manx and the TT, and straight away we hit it off and we're talking about it, and he's been like invaluable this year, talking through advice and things, and he said he'll come with me if I get a spot on the grid in 2027, and then I'm talking to Stuart McCann as well, current racer at the Manx, and then Ryan Garside. I've raced alongside him this year twice, and the chat I've had with him, and I can just drop him a message and things like that. It's brilliant. These people are so helpful, and it's invaluable, really. Like the experience, because you can ask about regs. For instances, I'm thinking now, what do I need if I am to be successful in 2027? What do I need to be buying for the bike that's going to be future-proofing it? Parts that I'm buying now that are going to be using the regs in 2027, because you don't want to be buying things twice. So little chats with Ryan, really, really, really like invaluable. Like I say, just having chats with those two boys, Stuart and Ryan, are doing a great job at the Manx. I was listening on the radio this year and watching the live feed, and it's just great to see people that you know and you sometimes racing alongside. So yeah, probably them two boys, really.
And you know, it's just lovely. I think in this sport there really seems to be a real sense that people do want each other to do well, especially when it comes to road racing. There's just something about that paddock and about that environment that I think is very giving from an experienced racer's point of view.
It's second to none, isn't it? Because like there's times this year where I've had help. Like, I'm blown away with some of the help. Like I say, Alan has just never. Not if I've stopped him in the paddock in No Limits, and I'm obviously inexperienced at the minute, and he'll happily spend 20 minutes with you talking through what you need to do and things on the bike, and you'll happily give your time to other people as well. Like if someone needs some parts or whatever, you're willing to help them because you know it's going to come back around and help you eventually, isn't it? You're never always going to have everything you need at a race meeting. So why would you not want to help people? Yeah, it's the friendliest place in the world is a race paddock. I totally agree with you.
So you mentioned there's been quite a few podiums, which has been brilliant this year. Where do you keep your trophies?
They're opposite. I'm sat in my living room and they're all opposite me at the minute. Obviously, some of the 125 ones we share around the boys. So, but yeah, all the ones, they're on my windowsill in front of me in my living room. Hopefully we'll get a few more next year. I didn't expect any podiums this year, so I think I got 4 in with the round racing team in the endurance, and then I managed to get a second place at the final round at Donington on my own. Just blown away. Like, it was so special to get that first proper solo podium. There was I'd put a clip on socials about it, and it just captures the emotion of racing, because it's all you ever want to do and you want to be really good at it, and that moment was just so special. So yeah, they sit opposite me on my windowsill.
That's lovely. And then everybody can see them when they come in. Are there any bike parts around you? One of these people who's got like an engine in the kitchen sink? Right,
I'm glad you asked this because it's getting a bit nuts. I unfortunately don't have a garage. So currently sat opposite me is 2 tank protectors, there's a belly pan, there's a seat pad, there's a new helmet, and then in the kitchen there's 3 sets of fairings, and then upstairs the old dressing room from a former relationship has now become a tyre room, which I think is a lot more useful than a dressing room, to be quite honest. The dressing room costs a lot of money as well, but I think the tyre room's far more important. So again, pictures on the socials of my new tyre room, which is so every space in the house has bike parts in it at the minute, just because I don't have a garage. And then my mum and dad's house is full of bike parts, and my dad is constantly telling me, what can you do? We're in a race outfit now, so you need every space you've got in the house. So yeah, it's driving my mum and dad crazy, but I'm really grateful again that they're helping me.
Dear Father Christmas, please can I have a garage?
I need a garage, yeah. Moving house is very expensive, as you know, Beth. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen.
You mentioned socials there. Are you okay? I mean, it must be a really weird thing, actually, for you being a teacher as well. I know you have to be a little bit careful about that side of things, but being social and out there is really important, isn't it?
I started doing, when we were in for the championship last year, I started doing some vlogs. I know it's not original and everyone's doing it, but I really enjoyed doing it. And like you say, you've got to be a little bit careful because you're a teacher. So my mate Nugget loves swearing, so he's trying to catch me out all the time because I try and avoid any language on my vlogs. So, but I really enjoy doing them. And if anybody wants to sit and watch them, they're on Randy Racing on YouTube. There's pretty much one from every round this year. I just really like doing them. And it sort of it gives you a little, hopefully when I'm old and decrepit and I'm sat in the chair, I can go back and watch these. I do it for me. So I've got a record of what's gone on and like memories forever. So yeah, they're all on there. And then Randy Racing on Facebook. There's a team page on there. And then Instagram now is it is Nick Round on Instagram, but it's mainly just racing. So yeah, if anyone wants to follow those and help us out, that'd be really good, and catch me on YouTube.
We will post those links on the podcast page. I feel like we've learned an awful lot about you in a relatively short space of time, Nick. This is good. I like it. What are the next few weeks looking like for you then? Obviously, you've got school stuff going on. They don't really do Christmas concerts really in secondary school, I suppose. Yeah,
they do a Christmas show at ours. We've got mocks at the minute, so it's all flat out. I'm absolutely climbing the walls because we finished in Spain. The last round of the season for Free Tech was in Spain last weekend, so I've got nothing to look forward to now. All I think about is racing pretty much nowadays, which is everybody you've had on the podcast is exactly the same. All they think about is racing, so I'm just climbing the walls waiting. So we've booked me and someone called Tom Major, an absolute doer on a bike, are doing the endurance again next year. So we've booked a little trip to Spain in February just to get up to speed. So literally on countdown till then. The bike's in pieces, the engine's out. We're doing a bit of, well, I'm not personally, I'm helping my dad, but obviously he's doing all the heavy lifting and just having a look over the valve clearances and stuff over the winter. Significant weight loss on the R6 because we've had all the road gear on it this year. We've been racing with all the road gear, so we're looking to lose about 5 kilograms off her. So that keeps me busy, but yeah, I'm climbing the walls, waiting to get back out on track next year.
Is there an exercise bike in the lounge as well that you can just be pretending on?
Well, I've thankfully got a close mate that I go to the gym with. He's not interested in bikes, but he always asks about them. So he's like my PT when we go to the gym, and then I'm running to death round the village just to keep as trim as I possibly can. Because obviously every kilogram hurts on the 600s, doesn't it? So yeah, that's the no exercise bike, but yeah, we're doing a lot of training ready for next year. Because in my head, if I'm not as fit as I possibly can be, I'm almost like letting myself down, I think. And if the prep's not right, I'm not in a good headspace to go on track. So yeah, I take my preparation really seriously. So yeah, we're doing all that sort of thing ready for next year.
Well, Nick, it's been great to talk to you. And I think it's really good to speak to somebody who's actually planning a little bit further ahead. And I think it really does give us an idea of just what goes on to getting people over to the Isle of Man to race. So it's just brilliant. When you are over, obviously give us a shout, because it'd be great to catch up with you, and all the best for the rest of the term at school.
Thank you so much, Beth. If you know anyone in the decisions office, can you put a good word in for me, please, for 2027? Worth a try, eh?
Nick Round, surrounded by trophies and bike parts there. Brilliant to talk to Nick and find out about the planning that's going into getting him to MGP 2027. For the next season in 2026, his plan is to do the Southern, the Scarboroughs, Aberdare and Irish road races too, obviously if it all falls in the school holiday time. So we wish him the very, very best with that. His contact details for all his social media and his YouTube channel are on the podcast page, so do check those out. So over the past few episodes, we've been hearing from Manx Grand Prix competitors who've done the event fairly recently for the first time. And it's just interesting getting their perspective on the sort of things that they wish they'd known before their first time on the mountain course. Today, we are going to hear from Grant Thompson, another Manx rider. He was the fastest MGP newcomer this year, and this is what he wished he'd known.
The only thing I wish I knew more about as a newcomer is like the first lap. You know, you're standing around doing nothing for most of the morning to 100 mile an hour straight away. I always struggled with that first lap of each race. It's always the second lap where I start to get going then. And one bit of advice I'd give to newcomers and that are coming through is make sure obviously you've done all your homework and don't rush any situations. The more you try to go a bit quicker, you end up going slower. So the more relaxed you are, the easier it actually is.
Brilliant insight there from Grant Thompson. You can find his details to follow him on social media on the podcast page as well. Huge things to come from him in the future. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this episode of Startline. Do take some time to find the riders on social media. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you'd like to get in touch with me and be part of the podcast in the future, you can email beth@startline.im. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.